What's going on, everybody? Today I'm going to be bringing you another review for you guys, and this time it is for the Deuce Season 3, Episode 7. This is the second to last episode in this series, because next week will be the final episode in the series, as the series is coming to a close. And if you're new to my channel, welcome. I hope that you enjoy this review. If you're also new, go check out all my other reviews, because I also have been reviewing every episode in this season, and I have reviews up for every episode in Season 2 also. So go check all those out, and so you can get a sense of what I thought of the whole season and series as a whole. But yeah, also there are going to be spoilers, like always, so you've been warned if you haven't watched tonight's episode. So, let's just dive right into this, because this episode, a lot of shit happened. Some of it I'd predicted, honestly, ever since back in Season 2. Mainly the whole deal with Abby and Vincent. They kind of separated in last week's episode, but then they got back together. I knew that wasn't going to last, mainly because of the fact of, Vincent wasn't going to get rid of that gun because he doesn't feel safe anymore. Vincent's also looking back on his life when he's laying there with his ex-wife, after they've fucked. He's laying there and he's looking back and it's like, I've had a good life, but at the same time, and I've done what I wanted to, but at the same time, it's all been kind of meaningless, is how I get the sense of how he's feeling. He is possibly wanting to move on with his life. He doesn't want another club. He wants to settle down. He wants to just live out his life and just, be a normal person. No more of this, going out and stuff like that. And then with Rudy being dead, because this does jump, I think it was a month, because Lori left her man and her manager all in the same day, and then she's slowly made her way back to New York, and she says it's either been a week or a month, since past. I can't remember which one, but it's been some time since all that from last week's episode transpired, and Rudy's dead, and Vincent just doesn't feel safe anymore without Rudy, because he doesn't agree with the whole, that's their way of life, and, someone offed him in his own organization because he took, didn't give up Vincent, and Tommy told him that, but Vincent at the same time has a feeling that Tommy's the one that killed him, just to take him out so, he can focus on what he wants to do and get full profit and shit like that, because Tommy's greedy. It's how Vincent looks at it. And that's, we got a really nice scene between Vincent and Mike. Mike's out living in a cabin in the woods, and, Vincent is up there, and they're kind of reminiscing, and he's like, you can't regret things, even though I'm going to die, because Mike does have AIDS, is what it seems like. He's like, I've enjoyed life. I didn't, we got that beautiful quote from his dad, don't leave a stone unturned. And he's like, I've unturned every single one. I haven't let nothing walk by me. I've enjoyed life, and I don't regret it. And, Vince is kind of going through that whole deal with, his brother's dead. Now Abby's done left him, so that's going to send him even farther down. It's obviously clear that he can't get back with his ex-wife, even though he kind of wants to. It's just his whole world is kind of spiraling out of control, and he can't do anything about it. And he doesn't like it. And I honestly think that with the way this show is going to wrap up with his characters, I think he's going to either, one, try to get out of the life, and Tommy's not going to let him, or two, he's going to try to kill Tommy. And it's ultimately going to kill Vincent. I don't for some reason see Vincent making it out of this show alive. I could be wrong, but I have a feeling with whatever steps he is going to try to take, I think it's going to get him killed in the long run. Going back to Abby, Abby loves Vince, but, she is struggling with her own deal where they've had this open relationship for 15 years. Her girlfriend just broke up with her. She comes home and finds the gun that Vincent has kept, and she decides to leave him, just up and leave him. Not Tommy, I can't think of Vincent's brother-in-law's name right now, the owner of the parlors, but, he's still going through the struggle of the girls are on their own, they're doing their own thing, and, you know, Tommy's getting pissed off about that, and they don't really know how to fix it or whatnot, And, there's really no way to fix it because the girls see that they can be making all the profit and it's going to be safer their way because of the beepers. And, all this actually happened was the parlors started going out, of business and shit like that because people were scared of the AIDS epidemic and, they wanted something safer. And, the girls found as pages came along, they didn't need the parlors, they didn't need any of those people, no middleman for them. They could be making all the profits. And, I feel like this is how, like, prostitution and stuff has been, like, it starts to evolve into kind of what it is today, where you have people on websites and, call girls and, stuff like that where it's just them. They don't really need any middleman. They don't have to be in some nasty ass, building where men can come in and out and just choose them. They get to be selective. They get to say yes or no to the, if they want to fuck the dudes. No one else is going to tell them. So, in that sense, I feel like we are seeing in this show, and it's doing a really good job of depicting it, of how, prostitution has evolved into what it is today. So, I'm really liking that storyline. I really am curious to see how it's going to play out. Because I think that the parlors are dead, and I think Tommy's eventually going to cut all of them off from that, or try to figure something else out. I can't quite figure out how that whole storyline is going to play out, because it could either play out where they rough up the girls and try to get the girls back, or they go in with what Vincent's nephew suggested, and with lowballing a stock that with the potential, it seems like it's going to succeed, but it's ultimately going to fail because you have inside trade, which is technically illegal, if I'm not mistaken, because you're not really supposed to have trader insights, especially if you're working on the Wall Street, in the on the floor. You're not really supposed to do that type of shit, but obviously they do. So, I feel like that's the route that they're going to take. So, in that sense, really good, with that storyline. Really enjoyed that. Also, Abby finally, she went to that meeting. She basically confronted the police about how they're renovating, really showed them, and I feel like she really opened up the people, the one guy's eyes. I always forget his name, but he played Bob in The Walking Dead, the black detective. That guy moved up, so that we followed since season 1. He knows her. He's seen her around. He knows what she's talking about, and I think that as he's moved up and as he's gotten political and all this other stuff, I feel like he slowly kind of forgot about that. But then when he started working with the people that were working in subways and stuff like that, he slowly started to get that back. And her saying that, I think, truly opened up his eyes again to what really is going to happen. And I feel like he's going to try to change the whole plan. So that whole storyline should be coming. I mean, all of this is coming to a close, so I'm curious to see how all of it plays out. If they don't wrap up that whole storyline, I'm going to be like, well, that was easily about, I don't know, fucking a third of this whole story throughout this whole entire show. So what the fuck was the point in it? But, I'm curious to see how they're going to end that one. And then, of course, we have Candy and Lori. Lori has finally made it back to New York after leaving her man and her manager. She's now on her own. She hits up Candy for a part to help get her to New York. She goes back to New York. She gets the job with Candy. She starts interacting with Candy. And, we have slowly, throughout the seasons of this show, and really this season, they have done a great job showing her going to madness with the whole fact of, yes, she likes the attention, but at the same time, she has nothing else. She started off with no family, then she got with, Cece, and then that ultimately ended, and then she went on her own. She thought porn was going to be the next big thing, and it was. And then ultimately, it was just a new form of her having a pimp with her man and all this other shit and being told what to do, and, she ended up last week having to do a whole gangbang, which she did not sign up for. She was kind of just leaped into it. So that's what made her to leave. And, she goes to Candy, and Candy is trying to talk to her, but Candy is also kind of trying to use her to get money for her movie. And, obviously, Lori's not in her right headspace, not right in her head, and Candy should have been like, okay, maybe you should just stay here. Maybe, you shouldn't be by yourself. But ultimately, she lets Lori leave. And Lori goes, she walks down her old strip. She, after talking to, Candy about, she doesn't have a kid. She doesn't have a family. She doesn't have a lover. She really has nothing other than just this persona that, she is just a porn star. She's basically, and this is going to sound harsh, but I feel like she came to the realization, and she's finally she accepts it, and, she sees it for what it is. And it's not all that way, but this is how she sees it, that she is just a cum dumpster that gets paid. And as fucked up as that is, that's honestly how I feel like her mindset was. They didn't say it that way, but you could ultimately tell that she was just, she thought of herself nothing but a fuck toy that got paid to be, and that's all she was good for. And she wasn't happy with that, so she went out, she made Candy her money back, left the credit card, left all that in the room, and then she blew her brains out. And of course, she didn't make it to set the next morning. And Candy, I feel like, really, she kind of got that sense when she didn't call, didn't do this, and this, and that's why she cut. And it ends with, that shot of all of her crew leaving after they didn't shoot anything, and Candy's just sitting on that bed. I honestly do think that because of that scene, I felt like Candy did have some realization that this isn't good. Something bad happened, and that's how it left it open. Ultimately, now Lori is at peace, hopefully. Because ultimately this is based off of real life characters, so Lori Madison did actually kill herself. Or I don't know if they used her real name or if they changed the names for the show. Let me know down in the comments. But either way, the character that she is based off of did kill herself, if I'm not mistaken. So, yeah, really fantastic episode. Well acted, well shot. Everything about this episode was just, to me, perfect. Because normally lately there's been scenes, little clips of, if you've been watching my reviews, that they just put in that really doesn't tie into the storylines that are going. It's just kind of like, oh, we need to see these characters so we can kind of tell their story, but it doesn't really flow well with what's going on with in the main focus of that episode with, like, every other, storyline. But this episode really did stick to the characters that it needed to show in this episode, and they didn't stray away from that, which I'm really glad about. But yeah, the Deuce season 3 episode 7, I'm gonna give it a 5 out of 5 stars. I really did enjoy this episode. I thought this was probably one of the best episodes of this series. I definitely didn't see Lori killing herself. I mean, I had a feeling she wasn't gonna make it out alive, but maybe, I can't remember if I said it or not in another past review that she was going to kill herself, but I was really hoping that she wasn't, or not at least going out like the way that she did. I always figured she would go out over a drug overdose, not blowing her brains out. But yeah, comment down below, let me know what you thought of this episode. How do you think next week's series finale is going to end? Who do you think is going to live? How do you think all this whole storyline is going to play out? Just let me know all that down in the comments. And yeah, guys, in the description I have links to all my social media platforms, so you can follow me over there for updates and little things like that. Just keeping up with my life and the channel's life and shit like that. It's a lot of fun over there, so follow me over there. And if you like this video, hit that thumbs up button, and also share it with everyone that you know. And hit that subscribe button for more awesome content like this, and a little bell icon to be notified when I upload. And I'll catch you guys in the next one. Goodbye.